Welcome to this week's Travel Talk Show. Each week, the Women's Travel Club takes you on a new journey. This week, we're venturing to Southern Africa and the wonderful desert realm of Namibia. I can't wait to introduce you to this truly one-of-a-kind destination. First, a bit about us. We're the Women's Travel Club, and we do small group tours for women worldwide. Our groups are truly small group and limited to 16 members per tour. Most women join our groups as solo travelers, but we will match roommates if you want to take advantage of the double occupancy rate. I am Marianne Southall, and I am head of the marketing department, and you will see me most weeks on the Travel Talk shows, talking about all these wonderful destinations and the different tours that we have available. So let's head to Namibia. Few countries in Africa can match Namibia's sheer natural beauty. The country's name derives from the world's oldest desert, the Namib, and there are few more stirring desert realms on the planet. From the stunning sand sea and the perfect dead valley trees at Sossusvlei to the otherworldliness of sand dunes plunging down the ocean at Sandwich Harbor and the Skeleton Coast. Namibia is located in southwest Africa, right along the Atlantic coast. It is bordered by Angola, Zambia, Botswana, and South Africa, and of course, the South Atlantic Ocean. Inland, running through the heart of the country, a spine of mountains creates glorious scenery. The Knocklift Mountains, the Brandberg, Schizopah, Darmerland, and the jaw-dropping Fish River Canyon. With rivers and wetlands in the Caprivi Strip and the endless gold grass plains of the Kalahari, it's difficult to think of an iconic African landscape that Namibia doesn't possess. Let's start our tour in the capital city, which is where the international airport is and where most tours will start. Windhoek is the capital of Namibia and today has between 300,000 to 400,000 inhabitants. Windhoek is the political, cultural, industrial, and economic center of Namibia. The name Windhoek is derived from the Afrikaans word meaning windy corner. The San Bushmen already populated the area around Windhoek thousands of years ago. Later, the Boers, Dutch settlers from the Cape Colony of South Africa, built a stone church large enough to hold 500 people, which was also used as a school. Soon the town developed, which however was completely destroyed by warlike disputes. In 1884, German Southwest Africa was declared as a German protectorate. During the First World War, the German colonial time came to an end in Windhoek. In 1915, and the town was occupied by South African troops, which were under British command. When Namibia became independent from South Africa in 1990, the town experienced a strong revival regarding political, cultural, and tourist aspects, and the number of inhabitants increased rapidly. Geographically speaking, Windhoek is situated in the center of Namibia, as is expected from all transport links from north to south and from east to west cross here. Due to its hilly surroundings, the international airport is situated 40 kilometers outside the town. Until today, numerous buildings from the colonial time can be found in Windhoek. It is striking how clean the town is. The influence of the German colonial times can still be seen today. German restaurants, several German street names, German beer, bread, and sausages. Even a German carnival is celebrated to a great extent. In some of the shops, one can communicate in German, even though the official language in Namibia is English. From Windhoek, let's head a bit southeast to the Kalahari Desert. The Kalahari Desert is a large semi-arid sandy savanna in southern Africa, extending for 900,000 square kilometers, covering much of Botswana and parts of Namibia and South Africa. It is not a desert in the strictest sense of the word, as it receives too much rainfall, between 5 and 10 inches annually. However, any rain filters rapidly through the vast expanses of sand, leaving nothing on the surface, turning the Kalahari into the thirstland. The name Kalahari is derived from the Swansea word Kulga, which means the great thirst. Kalagadi, meaning a waterless place. The wildlife found in the Kalahari Desert has to be able to survive the arid conditions. The wetter north has a richer and greater variety of wildlife than the drier south. Arid adapted game includes springbok, gemsbok, wildebeest, kudu, steenbok, and duiker. The Kalahari is home to desert specialties such as meerkat, bat-eared foxes, cape fox, and brown hyena. One of the more unexpected Kalahari Desert facts is that all 3 African big cats can be found here: cheetah, leopard, and the famous black-maned Kalahari lion. The Kalahari region in Namibia forms part of the 2.5 million square meter large Kalahari Basin, one of the largest coherent sand expanses in the world. The central parts of the Kalahari Basin consist of the Kalahari Savanna, also known as the Kalahari Desert. The most extreme climatic variations can be found in the Kalahari region. Whereas temperatures of 35 degrees Celsius are common in summer, which can also easily climb to 45 degrees Celsius, the Kalahari winter is characterized by significant temperature fluctuations. It's not uncommon that during the night temperatures fall below 0 degrees, whilst during the day they can rise again to around 25 degrees Celsius. For many, thirstland is a fitting description. Lacking permanent surface water, the Kalahari has a challenging place to live, except for those who have adapted to not only survive but flourish here. The Bushmen referred to it as the soul of the world, an emotive description for this area. With its deep red sand dunes and endless grass plains interspersed with acacias and shrubs, it is home to a surprisingly large amount of specially adapted wildlife. Enjoy the opportunity to experience the red dunes, wildlife, and plants in this desert environment on game drives and nature walks. Now let's head a bit west to Sossusvlei as we enter the Namib Desert. The Sossusvlei region is situated in southwestern Namibia and is characterized mainly by the Namib Naukluft Park and its highlight Sossusvlei and the Dead Vale. The region is very diverse, with the breathtaking Namib Desert, the oldest desert in the world. To the west, the Great Escarpment, forming a natural barrier between the Namib Desert and the Central Highlands to the far east. The Namib Desert is a real desert. That means it receives less than 50 millimeters of rain annually. The climate is typical for deserts with very hot days during summer, more than 36-degree average during the hottest months, and cool nights during winter with the occasional frost. Many endemic animal and plant species call the Namib their home. They have adapted perfectly to the heat. Many desert inhabitants make use of the fog, which every now and then emerges from the Atlantic Ocean. This is often the only source of humidity and vital to the survival of many. The oryx antelope, which often can be found deep in the desert, has developed a unique system to cool down its blood. Thanks to a fine network of blood vessels, the brain is cooled and thus the animal can handle a body temperature of more than 40 degrees Celsius for longer periods. Because of how old the Namib is, it's home to numerous species that don't occur elsewhere. And although no humans can survive in the desert, an amazing array of flora and fauna manages to survive here. Famous species include the Welwitschka, a living fossil plant, endemic chameleons, fur seals along the coast, brown hyenas, jackals, and remarkably, one of Africa's antelope, the gemsbok, or the oryx. The name Namib is of Nama origin and means vast place, and vast it certainly is. Deadvale is a white clay pan located near the more famous salt pan of Sossusvlei. Its name means dead marsh. It is found among the tallest dunes in the world, some reaching over 1,000 feet high, which is almost as lofty as the Empire State Building. Deadvale was once like Sossusvlei, with the river draining into it, nourishing desert life and even trees, but no longer. Some 900 years ago, the climate dried up and dunes cut off the Deadvale from the river. It became too dry in the Deadvale for the trees to even decompose. They simply scorched black in the sun, monuments to their own destruction. The trees, now over 1,000 years old, form a barren forest. The area, however, is not entirely without life. Salsola shrubs and clumps of nar melon stay alive by subsisting off the morning mist. This is a vast and beautiful area, and one of the best ways to get a true view is by hot air balloon. An early morning start will allow you to watch the sun rise over the dunes for a truly unforgettable experience. Now, we'll head a little more south to the Fish River region. The vast Fish River region, with its impressive landscape, is situated in the far south of Namibia and stretches from the South African border up to the small town of Os in the southwest, and further to Keetmanshoop in the southeast of Namibia. The region is dominated by the Fish River Canyon, with its 161-kilometer length, up to 27-kilometer of width and 550 meters of depth, is the second largest canyon in the world after the Grand Canyon in the USA. Predominant are two vegetation zones, the succulent and the Namakuru, that belong to the semi-deserts. Furthermore, some of the region stretches into the Namibic Desert. Many plants can be found in the region which have adapted to the harsh environment. The best known are the picturesque quiver trees, the euphoria, and the aloes. Many animals also manage to adapt to the conditions of this hostile environment, like giraffe, mountain zebra, oryx, kudu, springbok, ostrich, leopard, and the fascinating feral horses of the Namib. Our next stop, as we follow up the coastline, will be Swakomund and Walvis Bay. Namib's largest coastal town is a huge draw for merrymakers and vacationers from all over the globe. This seaside resort showcases its German origins and its European-style colonial architecture, creating a jarring juxtaposition against the landscape of the Namib Desert. Swakomund is one of those great traveler way stations along the African road. At once Namibia's adventure capital and a surreal colonial remnant, part destination in its own right and part launch pad for an exploration of the Skeleton Coast and the Namib Desert. This is a city with as much personality as it has sea frontage. Swakomund retains much of its German character and continental atmosphere. Local history is well covered at the Swakomund Museum. There's a good sprinkling of houses built in the Art Nouveau style so popular in Germany at the turn of the century, many of which merit a closer look. Other attractions include the Crystal Gallery and the Living Desert Snake Park, both of which pay homage to local features of the area. Just south of Swakomund is Walvis Bay, and one of the best activities here is a boat trip along the coast to view dolphins and seals, whereby the seals jump right into the boat. With a bit of luck, whales with their impressive tail fin can also be spotted. This is also home to the largest flock of flamingos in the whole of southern Africa. If we continue north along the coast, we'll come to the Skeleton Coast. This hostile but fascinating area covers 500 kilometers of the northern coast of Namibia. Here, the cold and unpredictable Benguela current of the Atlantic Ocean clashes with the dune and desert landscape of the northwestern Namibia. The name Skeleton Coast derived most probably from the huge numbers of stranded whales that lost their life here and whose skeletons could be seen all over the place. The Ovahimba, who are settling in the far northeastern parts of Namibia, use the whale bones for building their huts. Although in modern times the coast harbors the skeletal remains of many shipwrecks. Numerous ships have stranded at the Skeleton Coast thanks to the thick fog, the rough sea, unpredictable currents, and stormy winds. The sailors who were able to make it to the land did not stand a chance for survival at this inhospitable coast and died of thirst. Despite the hostile character of the Skeleton Coast, there are quite a number of wild animals to observe. For example, desert-adapted elephants, rhinos, desert lions, brown hyenas, jackals, giraffes, seals, oryx, kudus, and zebras. Also, some plants are incredibly adapted to the rainless area of the Skeleton Coast and depend solely on the daily fog from the Atlantic Ocean. There are Welschwichtias, Nara melons, several lithops, succulent plants, often called living stones, lichens, and pencilbrush. Our next stop is just a bit inland from the Skeleton Coast. Trifle Fontaine is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the home of some very unique looking rock engravings. Trifle Fontaine, which means double fountain or fountain of doubt, is the name of a valley in the Dharma highland. This valley was inhabited by the Dharma, who called the valley Uriseis, jumping fountain, in their language. In 1947, while farmers settled in the valley, but the fountain was unreliable with only a little water. The farms were abandoned by the white settlers due to the Untitled Plan in 1964, where the local populations of Namibia were relocated in homelands. Trifle Fontaine is famous because of its many rock paintings and rock engravings or petroglyphs of the Sans Bushmen, of which approximately 2,500 have been counted. Specifications about the age of the engravings fluctuate, and a period of 1,000 to 10,000 years is stated. Remarkable is that the engravings were made without the use of metal tools. It's presumed that quartz tools were used instead, as many quartz chips have been found here. The motives of the rock engravings are, on the one hand, hunting scenes, in which the hunters are pictured with bow and arrow. On the other hand, many animal engravings, antelopes, zebras, giraffes, lions, etc., are depicted. Remarkable is how also the engravings of a seal, as the ocean is about 100 kilometers away. The valley was declared a national monument in 1952 to stop the common stealings of rock engravings. The paintings and engravings can only be visited with a local guide. UNESCO declared Trifle Fontaine a World Heritage Site in 2007. Let's continue a bit farther north to Opuo, meaning the end, in Herio. It serves as the capital of the Kunin region and is known as the gateway to the magnificent Upopa Falls. The surrounding landscape is characterized by low-lying hills and vast dry desert plains inhabited by a wealth of desert-adapted wildlife. The border river between Namibia and Angola, the Kunin, plummets down a 40-meter deep gorge at the Upopa Falls, close to the nearby village of Upopa. The Kunin River is one of Namibia's 5 perennial rivers. Nonetheless, the water level changes depending on the annual rainfalls, so the natural spectacle of Upopa Falls is subject to seasonal fluctuations. The town provides a perfect base for visitors wishing to explore the Kwoka land area and visit the local villages of the nomadic Himba people. The Himba, one of the last tribes in Namibia still attempting to preserve and live their customs and traditions. They are semi-nomadic pastoral people who breed cattle and goats. Women tend to perform more labor-intensive work than men, such as carrying water to the village, building homes, and milking cows. Men handle the political tasks and legal trials. Their homes are simple, cone-shaped structures of saplings bound together with palm leaves, mud, and dung. The women are famous for rubbing their bodies with octazis, a mixture of butterfat and ochre, believed to protect their skin against the harsh climate. And the red mixture is said to symbolize Earth's rich red color and the blood that symbolizes life. Women have very distinctive hairstyles. A young girl typically has 2 plaits of braided hair. Just before puberty, the girls wear long plaits worn loose around the head. It can take on various forms, and sometimes wigs are worn over it. When the girls have completed their puberty ceremony, the so-called Ikori festival takes place, and she receives the Ikori headdress made from tanned sheep's or goat skin, with 3-leaf braided sheep points, often decorated with iron beads. When she is married for about a year or has a child, the Ikori headdress is replaced by the Irombi headdress, made from the skin of a goat's head and fastened under the hair at the back of the head by 2 thongs. From then on, the Ikori is only worn during ceremonial occasions. From Apowo, we will head to Atoshia National Park. Atoshia is one of Africa's great wildlife parks and Namibia's prime wilderness conservation area. Spanning a vast 22,300 square kilometers, it consists mostly of grassy plains around a huge salt pan, which becomes a beautiful lake after heavy rains and attracts large flocks of pink candy floss colored flamingo. Atoshia National Park is one of the most important game reserves in Africa and is home to numerous game species. Some of the most important game species are elephant, rhino, giraffe, lion, leopard, cheetah, mountain and plains zebra, springbok, black-faced impala, eland, warthog, and many other mammals. A large number of bird and reptile species can also be found. Unlike other parks in Africa, when you spend days looking for animals, Atoshia's charm lies in its ability to bring animals to you. Just park next to one of the many water holes, then wait and watch while a host of animals, lions, elephants, springboks, gemsboks, etc., come not 2 by 2, but by the hundreds. The Atoshia National Park and the rest of the region are divided into 8 different main vegetation zones. The center of the park is dominated by the Vegetation Zones salt pan, with hardly any vegetation at all. Furthermore, there are grasslands, dwarf shrub savannas, thornbush savannas, mopane savannas, and woodlands, mixed woodlands, terminalia woodlands, and some dolomite hills. Namibia combines in one country so much: the sculpted, natural-born perfection of a sand dune, wildlife in great numbers with so many stories, and a palpable sense of wilderness at so many turns. Atoshia is one of the best parks in Africa. The Namib is one of the world's most beautiful deserts, and Damarland, with its desert lions, desert elephants, and black rhinos, is a unique wonder. It is truly one of Africa's hidden gems. If you would like your own Namibia adventure, join us next November. We have a great tour and safari, and it will include 12 nights, first-class accommodations, all your meals, Windhoek City Tour, Pinduka and Hope Village visit, a stay in a typical Namibian guest farm, Sossusvlei Tour, you visit the Sesrium Canyon, Namib Sky Balloon Safari, a dolphin cruise in Walvis Bay, Swakomund Tour, an African cooking class, Trifle Fontaine rock art tour, desert elephant tracking, Himba village visit, a night safari drive, Atoshia safaris, Africat Foundation cheetah and leopard viewing, all your gratuities, your airport transfers, an English-speaking guide, and a women's travel club tour host. So here are the rates for our tour, which is happening November 7th to the 19th next year, 2022. The double occupancy rate is 83.29 Canadian. And so at this time, that's approximately 6,700 US dollars. Our single occupancy is 92.89 Canadian, which is approximately 7,500 US dollars. You can find full details of this tour on the Women's Travel Club site. So just go to www.women's-travel-club.com, or you can always give us a call at 1-844-749-0725, and we can chat about the tour and answer any questions you might have. So thank you, everybody, for attending. I hope you quite enjoyed this show. Again, every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern Central Time, we have a different travel talk show highlighting a different area. Maybe it will be a tour overview, or it might just be a virtual journey, but we hope you do join us. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.